Ready.
Why is it all? See, this is why this camera sucks. Because it's just not quite tall enough. This, not the camera. What's that called? Tripod. I need to put it on like some wooden blocks or something. This is one of those days where I didn't film too much because I kind of wanted to just enjoy the day. And I wanted to get an early night. I've been averaging like 4 hours sleep most nights, especially since I've been doing this because the edits take up a large chunk of my day. So I'm going to fill in the context for all the scenes that are happening now. So we started the day off early. We went to the car boot sale. I like walking around the car boot sale. It's really good. I call it inspiration walks. You can do them at the car boot sale. I do them in shops, anywhere really. It's just a good excuse to go somewhere and kind of window shop and look at things and see how they're made and see how they're put together. Sometimes you buy stuff, sometimes you don't. If you haven't got any money, you don't need to buy anything. It's just a good excuse to look at how to put things together. To give you an example, this is something I bought at a previous vintage market that I went to. This is one of those like explosion-proof lights. And hang on, let me zoom out. This is one of those explosion-proof lights. It has the shroud around it so you can't bash the light bulb. And this is the kind of thing you would hang up if you were like doing like automotive work or something. And this is a really interesting piece because it's made in 1929. And you can see that it was handmade. They've used brass for this, for the metal cage bit, the sort of fender area. It looks like mild steel, but it is brass because if you scrape off some of the grime, you can see. And you can also see they've used brass because it was easier for them to solder the joints together. Autofocus, normally good. This plastic piece, that's not original, but you can see they've done some really interesting things on how to get it moving in all directions with this ball and socket joint, and then the nice spring clamp. It's just a nice piece, and I've got some ideas about how to use this for video content, so I buy loads of things expecting to use them for video content, and eventually I do get around to it, always. Psych. I thought this was going to be an inspiration walk, but it's quickly turning into a fashion shopping trip. So we went to the Laycock, but it wasn't so good today. Then we found out that it's because the big one is on at Castle Combe at the racetrack. So we're going to come and investigate there, although we're a bit late now. Probably most of the good stuff is going to be gone. Check out this vintage wheelchair design. Literally a chair with wheels. So it was the case that the first car boot sale that we went to it wasn't as good as it normally is, and that's because the big one was on at Castle Combe. But by the time we reached that one, it was like midday, and so at that point all the good stuff's gone. But I do think generally the sellers are becoming more savvy, and because of things like eBay, Facebook Marketplace, there's less good stuff generally at car boot sales. There's an opportunity to sell like good stuff before you even get to the car boot sale point. I think what sort of further supports this hypothesis is that I saw a lot of vintage Warhammer at the big car boot sale, and it was all priced pretty sensibly. It's clear that the sellers had done a bit of homework. The prices were cheaper than you could get it online, but still more than you really want to spend at a car boot sale. Give me the haul.
Wrap top, skirt, which I'm gonna
pull it in.
Fabric to make a dress.
Very nice.
It's quite nice as a blanket.
I, however, have resisted. I didn't really see anything that I was super keen on today, and I don't need more junk. I've got loads, so I just chilled. My wallet is in good condition, although I bought all her stuff. I think we only spent £5. If you're struggling to come up with ideas when it comes to making things, then an inspiration walk's a really good idea. You can kind of go around, find stuff, buy it, or take photographs of it, bring that home, and then try and reproduce that object. That's a really good way to explore making. Trying to reproduce another object is really good practice, and you kind of learn stuff when you're on that making journey. There's insights that you'll gain that you wouldn't otherwise be able to find out. All right. This is the part of the day where the nightmare really begins. You remember this model I made the other day? Well, let's get rid of the tiles. It was time, dun dun dun, to put down the shower tray. We left this trap section. We left the trap section right here full of water overnight, and so we're pretty sure that all these joints are all now completely watertight, which is really good. We put paper towel underneath when we left last week, and it was dry. The trouble this time was it's time to cement down the shower tray, and that was so much more of a challenge than I expected it would be. Trying to get that thing level once the cement was underneath it was really difficult. I think I probably had to lift it up and place it back down, scraping cement away, putting some more back in, probably about 30 times. And this thing is not light. But after about an hour and a half, 2 hours of fiddling with it, we got it in. We got the shower tray finally fitted. I'm very excited. But I'm never fitting a shower tray ever again. Someone else can do it. I did film some footage, but my primary concern was to just get the thing in. Maybe I'll just do a quick voiceover on the bits that I did film. Join me. So after checking that all of the pipework underneath was completely dry, it was time to screw down the plywood. We're sort of committing now at this point. And you can see I put some cardboard over the trap. This is just to stop any concrete getting in there. We don't want any muck landing in. So we just mix up a little bit of cement in a bucket. Then we empty it out onto the floor. I think I did 2 buckets worth. It was enough in the end. And then just a case of troweling it out and trying to get it as level as possible. We probably should have hooked up some sort of datum first. And then finally we put the tiles down just to add a bit of weight on top whilst it was drying. Once the concrete starts to set, it becomes really hard to compress this down. And you've got to try and wiggle it, side to side this way and then side to side this way. And you've got to try and get everything perfectly level all the way around the edge. And that's really important because these shower trays are designed so that the shower tray itself is not level in the middle. It all sort of scoops down towards the drain point right there. So you want all of your exterior edges totally level, then the shower tray will deal with the rest. But our concrete, I think, was probably starting to go off. We probably wanted a slightly wetter mix so we had more working time. Maybe make like a little frame or a datum or something and try and get your concrete as level as possible first before you put the shower tray down. That's probably best because it's kind of hard to squeeze concrete. You'd be surprised. You can put a lot of weight on that stuff. We'll find out in a few days whether that's worked. And that was kind of the end of the day. I'm trying to do this. Get the Smithomatic logo in for branding. The good news is the shower tray is fitted. The bad news is, I'll tell you later. Thank you. We're watching this show called From. It's very frustrating. The TV is on so loud downstairs.
Yeah.
We're watching this TV show called From, and it's incredibly frustrating to watch.
But we have to finish it.
But we're gonna finish it, and if they cancel this show before I get my answers, why I oughta. The good news is oh no, the fucking mic's on the wrong way around.
This is really annoying me.
Is that a love bite?
I think it's a bug bite.
Is that a love bite from the sun?
Yeah. Did I get bug?
The sun kiss.
No, you're alright.
Sun kiss.